بسم الله الرحمن
The
الرحيم.
second is teaching a spirit of mental strength and training for mental strength. What does that mean? See, some people, they'll spend a lot of time working out, building up their bodies, eating the right food, preparing themselves. I mean, you see some people now that the gyms are closed, and I'm assuming in Georgia it's a little bit different than here in California where I'm speaking from. But when you go outside and you see people working out, it's as if they're preparing for some sort of zombie apocalypse. They prepare their bodies, they eat the right nutrition, they train themselves so that physically they're strong and they're able to carry out physical tasks. But what happens when we train ourselves physically, but we don't train ourselves mentally? And sometimes, so we strengthen our body in order to be able to accomplish physical tasks. But when we strengthen our mind, we'll be able to accomplish more than just physical tasks. We'll be able to accomplish physical tasks, emotional tasks, and mental tasks as well. And I'll give you an example of that. For a while, I was fascinated with the world of special operations soldiers, and every country, every military, basically has their own version of special operations soldiers. Here in the United States, you have the infamous Delta Force and the SEAL Team 6 and the Green Berets and all of that. And it's so interesting to watch. And if you've ever had the chance to watch this on your own, watch how they train their soldiers. In terms of physicality, physically, it's very, very grueling. But if you've noticed, the training that they have to go through in order to earn their badge is not just physically grueling, it's mentally grueling as well. So you take the Navy SEALs, for example. If a person wants to become a Navy SEAL, first they have to go through, I believe it's 8 or 9 weeks of naval preparation school or something like that, which is very, very intense. And they have to take a test, and there's a score associated with that. After they take that test, based on that score, they are qualified now to enter what they call BUDS, which stands, I believe, for something underwater demolition. Anyway, it's a very, very grueling course that they have to take. And out of the many, many people that apply, the ones that get cut, it's not because they're not physically strong. It's because mentally they can't sustain themselves. They can't follow through. Mentally, they haven't trained themselves. And so by the time they get to the end, and I was reading an article recently, it said the following, and I quote it. It says, some graduates say that SEAL training, that elite training, is 10% physical, 90% mental. Even though when you look at it from the outside, it looks physically grueling, which it is, but mentally it's even more grueling. And it's actually designed that way so that the soldiers learn how to work under stress. And so what does that have to do with commitments and follow through? Well, you find that the toughest commitments when it comes to follow through require more mental strength, mental focus, and mental tenacity than it does physical. Look at the camp of Imam Hussainع alayhi salam on the day of Ashura. Look at how physically they were strong, spiritually and mentally they were strong, which in turn caused physical strength, even though, despite the lack of nutrition, despite the fact that they were cut off from water for a number of days by the time that they fought on the battlefield. Despite that grueling heat that they faced, they were able to persevere in battle, not because of a special potion that they had. They didn't even have basic food necessities. Ali al-Akbar, when he comes to his father, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he comes to him on that day, he complains of the heaviness of the armor. The narration that describes that interaction, it says it says that his tongue looked like a dry piece of wood. If you've ever been dehydrated, if you've felt dehydration, you know how bothersome it is and unbearable it is. Well, imagine that and carrying armor and a sword and a shield into battle and fighting against people. But where was that strength from? That strength was mental strength. It was spiritual strength. It was emotional strength.